I'm about to do something I've never done before. Before everything blows up and smoke starts coming out, let's get back to basics. Oh, you're looking great tonight, by the way. I can see that you did something new with your hair. So I'm going to be building some feedback loops using pedals, plugging them into themselves and then letting those signals go out to other pedals. There will be no actual input. So there's no instrument. I'm not playing a guitar into the pedals or a synth or anything. The signal is just going to be feedback from the pedals themselves. So you can take what's called a splitter cable here, plug it into the output of a pedal, and then you now have two outputs. Now, one of these, plug a new cable into and just loop the pedal into itself. The only signal that's going into this pedal is whatever's coming out of it. The only signal coming out of it is what's going into it. So it's making a loop, which doesn't create any cool results unless you can hear it. So that's where this extra output comes in. Let's go, says Ricolesville. Today, the one I'm going to start with as an experiment is just a tried and true tremolo. And it's a Boss tremolo. And if you watched the last stream, I wanted to add one or two more pedals into the mix, but I had run out of splitters. Well, I got a few more. One thing that this mixer has, 4 buttons here that can store loops. I figured it'd be kind of fun to have a kick. So I'm just going to kind of get started. This is going to get messy. Oh my God. I had leftover tacos. Gonna put a splitter in there and get him talking to himself. So output back into the input. I'm going to plug this guy in. In theory, I could turn this guy on and he's just going to start going wacky on us. Sometimes you can click one of these pedals on when you're doing a feedback loop and it'll be completely silent, and you don't let that trick you. These things, with the slightest turn of a knob will jump up and slit your throat. So we're going to start quiet and just see what happens. Shut up for 1 second. This little mixer, it's got some really basic built-in effects. I like to use the Hall effect just to add a bit of stereo spread. So I'm going to click this guy back on. So not the most pleasant thing, but let's put something cooler after this guy. Shut up for 1 second. I'm gonna start with these guys. I love these little guys. I heard you like splitters, bro, so I put a splitter in your splitter. I'm gonna go crazy and put 2 harmonizers. I'm gonna put 1 signal into each of these harmonizers as a stereo pair. In theory now, this little tremolo coming out of here will now have some harmonies in stereo. Yeah. This guy's on the left channel and this guy's on the right channel. So if you're on headphones, you can hear that one of these is left and the other is right. When I change the depth of the tremolo, it changes the pitch of the feedback loop. Right on. The next thing I'm going to try is taking both of these, combining their signal into this guy and seeing what happens. I'm going to just dip down below here for 1 moment. I'm going to pretend like I didn't notice the light up to my left just kind of turn itself on and off. All right, bear with me. What? It's probably due to a storm. So as a signal between these two guys sums back together into this guy. Out of this guy, I've got 2 outputs, so I will make use of those. There should be no signal going through when I unmute this channel. Famous last words. Never mind, it was on. I couldn't see that the light was there, okay? Look at how dim that light is when it's on. Okay, so these guys are both on. Very strange that if I turn one off, it cuts the signal out completely. But now, let's turn this guy on. Yeah, bro. I'll be able to dial in harmonies with these guys and then affect those harmonies together with this guy. All right, what is next? What I want to add is a nice juicy reverb. This descent pedal is a pretty juicy reverb. Maybe I'll come out of output A with a splitter. Things are starting to look spaghetti-ish. 2 outputs and put them into their own channel. Yeah, is it doing anything yet? Music Mixing 101, if you ever want to hear a sound, unmute it. Yeah, see, I can just have this going. All right, I think it's time to add in the next pedal. What if I split the other output from the harmonizer into the slicer? I'm gonna squish my window down. Oh no. Oh. So coming out of the Harmonist, I've still got both channels going dry into the mixer, and then I've got one channel going into reverb, one channel going into the slicer. Nothing yet. Look at the signal. The signal's barely registering. It's the splitter it doesn't like. Oh, it's just output B. You know what? forget output B. I'm about to do something I've never done before. Everybody get ready. Prepare to call the authorities if something goes completely wrong. So output A, reverb, and let's get a dry. Perfect so far. I am going to split the reverb output, come out of, let's say right. Perfect. Pretty wild. There's got to be one more to add in here. I might add in particle. Maybe coming directly out of the tremolo. I'm going to have this guy here. I'll just put him over here for now. Whoa, signal is peaking. Let's get back to basics. Before everything blows up and smoke starts coming out, let's get back to basics. Let's see what the particle does with this signal. So now we've got one more track that is just this particle. It's gonna be similar to the slicer. Well, let's see, these two guys together are just some strange, I mean, it's not even polyrhythm, it's just clashing rhythms. It's all being fed by the feedback coming out of the tremolo pedal. Maybe a recap on how everything is hooked in together. We start with the tremolo. The tremolo is then split into two. One of those splits goes back into the tremolo to create the feedback. The other split is then going into a harmonizer. The other split is then going into a splitter. And then that splitter is going into two harmonizers. Now each of those harmonizers are then going directly into a stereo channel on the mixer. Both harmonizers have splitters going in and splitters going out. They are filthy little animals. Both of those are then being summed into the Harmonist, which is taking those harmonies and shifting those harmonies as a whole. Now the Harmonist is going into a mono signal, and it is being split into this big old juicy reverb. And this juicy reverb output is going both as a stereo output into its own channel on the mixer. The right channel is also being split off into the slicer. And this is going out. The slicer then goes out into its own stereo track. So the tremolo is feeding this whole system here, but it's also split off into this one little annexed particle. What a fantastic mess. So that wraps it up for another live stream session of no input feedback, also no input synthesis, also looping pedal feedback. If you enjoy watching this sort of experimental sound project, I'm going to be live streaming every Sunday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. It was fun, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next video.